Welcome to day 3 of the Friends of the Farms 4-day fun drive. Day 1, we made our delicious blueberry thyme fizz with our Highside Distilling gin. On day 2, we made the plum Negroni with our gin as well as our Amaro Rosina, our aperitivo style Amaro. Now day 3, we're going to be using our Fernet to make a cocktail we call the Bitter Beet. So, starting with Fernet, this is definitely our boldest spirit. If you never had Fernet before, Fernet is a style of Amaro, another bitter Italian style liqueur. Typically, Fernets are characterized by a mint and a menthol, kind of a eucalyptus presence, which make them a bit more medicinal than some other styles. And typically, they're the most bitter style of Amaro. So definitely that classic Italian digestif, very strong flavor, holds up very well in cocktails. Typically, when you're using this in cocktails, you're using it in very small quantities. In this cocktail, it's actually going to be at the forefront. And so we got some really strong ingredients to really hold up to that power of the Fernet, namely beet juice, lemon juice, and a honey ginger syrup. So I'm going to get those ingredients out. Got our Fernet, that's the main ingredient. Freshly juiced beets here, which will give it a beautiful color as well. Fresh squeezed lemon juice, and then a honey ginger syrup. So for this honey ginger syrup, what we did is we actually just made a honey simple syrup, which is essentially reducing honey with equal parts water. So we do 1 cup of water, 1 cup of honey, put that on the stovetop, make sure that's fully incorporated, and then once that starts to get to a boil, then adding in about 1/3, maybe 1/4 cup of peeled and sliced ginger. And then we're gonna let that simmer for roughly 25 minutes or so, and then strain out the solids, and then you're left with this nicely infused honey syrup with a really strong presence of ginger. So, very, very powerful flavors. This is gonna be a very, very tasty cocktail. This one will be shaken as well, just a standard shake, not employing the dry shake like we did with the fizz cocktail. So I've got my shaker set here. I've got my measuring cup, and I've got my strainer. So we are going to start here with the main ingredient, the Fernet. So 1.5 ounces of Fernet. And then we are going to use 1 whole ounce of beet juice. Such a pretty color. All right. And then we're going to use 3/4 ounce of lemon juice. All right, got the lemon juice in there. And then our final ingredient is the honey ginger syrup. We're gonna use 1/2 ounce of that. All right, now I've got everything in my shaker tin. I'm just gonna add my ice and give it a good shake. Maybe a little more ice. And since this one is not going to be served over ice, it'll be served neat. I'm going to shake this for a little bit longer time just to make sure it's really nice and chilled as it goes into the glass. All right. Give it about 5 to 10 seconds. All right, that feels nice and cold here. And it looks like beet juice. So for this one, I'm going to use just a small little stemmed glass like we have here. And I'm going to strain it directly into that glass. So again, no ice needed on this cocktail here. Looks like we sized it perfectly for this glass here. All right, and then this one we're going to garnish with a fresh herb. So I'm going to actually choose a fresh little sage leaf here. Let that kind of float on the edge of the glass there. And there you have your bitter beet. So for this one, I'm gonna bring Heather back out to give this the old taste test. Make sure it passes the approval.
This is the best part of my job. I have to say all of these are amazingly beautiful, but this is the one that I'm most excited about because I'm a huge fan of Fernet. And anytime that you can incorporate that into a cocktail, I'm excited about it.
It's a tough one to work with, so when you find one that works, it definitely is
well, I'm going to use 2 hands so I don't slap it all over me. Oh, wow.
Works?
Cheers.
Cheers.
And thanks to all of you who have been making donations this week to Friends of the Farms. We very much appreciate your support of local food and farms.